Kellen from Screen Innovations here in front of one of our zero edge screens, and we're gonna go over LED troubleshooting. All right, so we've got a view of the backside of the screen where all of the LED control modules, power supply, and harness is connected to the lower horizontal frame piece. There's basically two versions. You've got the version that is standard IR, and then you've got the version that is IPL, so you can be controlled using the Philips Hue hub and app. My opinion, Philips Hue hub and app is the way to go. Totally gives the lights so much more functionality. You can set it up to scenes and things like that and have them completely automated. So my tip, always go with the Philips Hue version. All right, but just so that you guys know, there is no big difference between these two harnesses. The only difference is the actual controller that is basically the brains for the LED strips. Now, one of the biggest things is initially, how do you troubleshoot if you have an issue? Well, the awesome thing about this LED harness is everything is right here. And so, first thing that we usually check if we were having an issue is we check the remote to see if it's working. Only two things that could possibly go wrong with the remote. One, either the remote is bad, or two, it's got a bad battery. Easiest way to check this, pop out your camera phone, go into selfie mode on your camera. You're gonna point the remote straight at the camera. And basically, any time that I hit a command on the remote, or if I hold a command down on my camera phone, I'll basically be able to see that a purple flash is coming from the IR remote. If you see a purple flash, you know that the remote is sending out a signal. If you don't see a purple flash, that means you either need a new battery or a new LED remote. Second thing, power supply. If we don't have power, remote won't work. All you gotta do to check the power supply is just get access to the LED harness. On the power brick itself, there is a green indicator light. That light will illuminate if the unit is getting power. So if I were to unplug this, basically what you'll see is you'll see that power light dim out, okay? And so if you don't have a green light there, that means we've got a power brick issue or a power issue altogether. Third thing is the LED controller itself. Nice thing about this LED controller is it also has indicator lights. So it has a power indicator light as well. If it is receiving power, it illuminates. If power isn't going to the controller, the light will go out. So if we've got green light, no green light, then we know this controller is not getting power. So we either need to check the connection to make sure it is getting power, or we possibly have a bad controller, okay? It also has a signal light on the LED controller, which basically flashes red anytime a command is pushed from the remote. There's also a white wire that runs down through the center of the frame and goes right over here, and this is where our IRI is. So if you just unclip that, you can see that the bubble side is basically where the I is. So in some cases, if you're getting poor IR reception or response, you may want to check your IRI bubble and make sure it's orientated the correct way. But as you can see, if I press a command on this remote, you're going to see a signal light flash. Okay, so that right there is how you know that the IR is actually sending a signal and that the controller is actually receiving it. Okay, so if I send a remote command to this and I'm not getting a signal light there, then I know something's going on with this controller. Our last thing are the LED strips, okay? One thing to check is the actual connection from the LED strips going into the controller. If you get one that's loose, so you see how this is working, but watch what happens if I just jiggle this guy out just a little bit. You can see that that LED strip goes in and out. Okay, so always check your connections and make sure that you got good connection. Another potential LED strip issue is where you are not getting a consistent solid color halo, okay? Quickest way to troubleshoot that issue is with the remote, choose red, okay? Check and make sure that you get a nice consistent red halo around the screen. Next thing, green. Check and make sure you get a consistent green halo around the screen. Then go to blue. Same thing, check, make sure you have a good blue halo. And then white. Make sure you have a good halo. All the colors are mixed off of red, green, and blue. So if at any point, say you went to green and you saw that there was an issue with one of the LED strips, that is a clear indicator that that strip is damaged. Other potential issue with the LED strip, it's very, very important that you use the foam to round these edges and that the LED strip itself rounds the edge. If you go too tight around this corner, you can damage the strip. And what'll happen is you'll get green, 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 green all the way down to the strip, and then the color will stop. And the rest of your LED strip doesn't work. Usually that is a clear indicator that while the LED strips were being installed, we rounded a corner too tight and damaged the strip. If you ever need to cut the LED strips, so especially at the top where you've got the two LED strips overlapping, all you do is you cut on this white line right here next to the RB and 12 volt. Just cut the white line. So that is quickly how you can kind of diagnose what's going on with your LED lights, okay? You just kind of want to check, is the remote actually sending out a signal? If not, replace the battery, or you just got a bad remote and we can sell you another one. Or you can look at the back of the LED harness, check your indicator lights, and that'll kind of tell you which part is giving you the problem.